Hello, Craig Thompson Wood here now for turn 10 of the Duel of Ages Triad campaign. And seems as usual, I'm coming with an apology because I think I was rushing a bit to just try and get things done while I was on holiday, try and get as much done as I could while I was on holiday. And I guess that was maybe leading to me making mistakes. I also think that because I only tend to play this game like once a year, if that, it makes the rules a little bit fuzzy for me on some things. And anyway, enough of that. Apologizing on that. It is what it is. There are a couple of things which there's like one huge mistake that was made earlier. I'm not going to mention it. If you noticed it, you noticed it. If you haven't, then I'm not going to tell you. It's just going to have to be because it would have really made a big difference. But there was one thing that my brother had pointed out to me. Actually, I think there's a couple things. Anyway, but one thing that is important is I guess I kind of misread here Dr. Memnar's ability here. With his horrid transformation, it says free action, you must check luck, and you can see whether he's a scientist or a monster. I read that to mean like as a free action, if you want to be one or the other, because there is circumstances where he would want to be the scientist, to use a card or to, test things that involve like intelligence or something. But for the most part, I mean, his stats are just so much better as the monster. Like, really, you're not going to want to. But what my brother's pointing out says you must check luck. And he read that as you have to do it every turn. And when I thought about that, I mean, he's a mad scientist. It's a monster. It's not something necessarily he's under full control of. And I like that better thematically. So I'm going to do that moving forward because it just makes it more interesting, too. Like, Dr. Memnar just been sitting there just taking on the two best combatants on the black team and really coming away quite well for it. I mean, he barely took a scratch. So there's that, and as I said, there's a couple other things, but those are bigger things that would affect too much. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So there's no further preamble on my part in terms of going over the mistakes, but I do have a plan for what I'm going to do after this game, and I will discuss that later. For now, let's just get right into turn 10 with Team White. So one thing I am going to do, just because it's not so far back that I can't fix things here, I am going to see last turn if Dr. Memnar was the monster or the scientist. Because that would have made a huge difference in what was going to play out here. Because just sort of a heads up, if Dr. Memnar is still the monster, I would just keep things exactly the way they were, because the plan is Dr. Memnar is going to take everything, hook up with Jolie in Lith's Cavern here, give her the Lith tribute, and she can run it in the turn after that. But if he's the scientist, then a couple of things. One, Executor could well have, I'll look at the cards that were there, Executor might well have done damage enough to kill him or get closer to killing him, make things a lot more dangerous. Also, for sure, what would happen, Executor would not have left Dr. Memnar, would have stayed on top of him for one more turn. The Executor only left this turn off of Dr. Memnar because wanted to be able to fight without suffering an attack back, right? And by doing this, then it would prevent Dr. Memnar from grabbing those items left by Princess Moonglow and the Lith tribute. So let's pull a card and see. Do I need to turn back time? I need to turn back time. So somehow my original video of the explanation of what, looking back at the thing with Dr. Memnar being the scientist in that previous combat in turn 9, I somehow didn't save it properly or didn't record it properly. So just redoing it now after the fact, just to explain what had happened. So in the original combat, Dr. Memnar was, 7 better than Executor. So it was, in fact, a hit. But when we look at it as Dr. Memnar, the scientist, you see that he's got, trying to do this with only one hand here. So he's got 1 combat versus a 1 wits, which means it was a 1-to-1 attacker better by 0, which was, according to that card, a miss. Just using the same cards that were used before. So Executal had suffered 3 hit points. So those 3 hit points will be replaced to Executal. Executal then did no damage to the Doctor. Then in the Black Turns combat, remember Executal had moved away. He did... but in this case, he was staying. So with the attack there, he did +2 damage. I did a quick card pull for Dr. Memnar, and he had, again, missed Executal. So Dr. Memnar ended up taking 2 damage from that, and Executal will get the 3 hit points back. So at current standing, Dr. Memnar is down to 3 wounds remaining, and Executal is down to 8 wounds remaining. And Executal will be staying on top of Dr. Memnar because, as a scientist, Executal just isn't scared. So for the free action phase, Jolie has nothing that she can do. Odessa of Omri is able to gain a secret card, so she will get a Henry 44, which she is not strong enough to use. So, but it's at least a card she can use maybe for gaining access to something, or sometimes you have to pay cards for stuff. So she has that. Clara Barton has nobody to heal. Corporal Janus has no free actions to do. Dr. Memnar, he's going to have to see whether he's staying as the scientist or turning into the monster, and he is still the scientist. So he's remaining as the scientist because, according to the thing, on a 0 to 4, he's a scientist, and on this card you see it's a luck rating of 3. So we're looking at the luck rating there. So he's remaining as the scientist, which means he is in a spot of trouble. He has no cards to... If he had a card, I might even suggest he try and run into the enemy base just for something. I don't know. But right now, yeah, he's in a bit of a hurt. And he can't pick up those items as a free action because Executal is still there, right? So now that this whole scientist thing, you see, it makes it a lot more interesting. Okay, so that's it for free actions. Look at the handy dandy card. Trying to avoid any future mistakes. And we're going into the fire phase. So there's no firing to be done. The only ones with any ranged weapons are Odessa of Omri, Jolie, who have no targets. So we move on to the movement phase. Now Jolie, now I'm trying to look here. Okay, for, I'm not sure where it says gender on these cards, but like being the Hive Mother, I would assume actually then that Executal is female. Yeah, there's these stories on the back that sort of tell you, but it doesn't use any pronouns there. I'm going to assume, though, being a Hive Mother, that we're going to treat this as female, just because, what's her name? Jolie de la Revessal does have abilities that affect men. Now, Sterling Jack is coming up right behind her there, but I think she would probably rather just... because she can try and fire at Executal, but Executal only has 3 wounds now of 11, so it's not like she's going to kill Executal. So I think she just has to say, thanks for the memories, Dr. Memnar, and hightail it out of here. So she's going to go 1, 2, 3. Oh, well, she's here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So she is actually in the aura range now of Executal. So Executal says if you start any enemy that begins their movement within 4 aura, suffer -1 speed. So she's actually 1 slower. So her speed is normally 6. So she is going to go 1, 2 to the rough, 3, 4, 5 down to there. So she's just going to hide out in that cavern there. And I mean, yes, hiding in a cavern from Executal, not the best plan, but I think Executal's got other things to be concerned about right now. So that's it for movement. Oh no, of course it's not. What am I saying? So that's Jolie. Now we look at Odessa, and Odessa might come here to take away that thing. And Clara, well, Clara cannot stay in the spot where Odessa is, so Odessa's going to move there. And so Clara will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then, so together, maybe Odessa can move that thing forward, then Clara can try and remove that one. Okay, teamwork. And Corporal Jenkins is going to go, doesn't matter where he goes, just into there. Not that there's any modern characters on the white team, but, labyrinth points are labyrinth points. And then Dr. Memnar. So what is he going to do? I think at this point, he's only got 3 wounds left, and there's a good chance now that he's much weaker. He's going to get mauled by Executal. So in the scientist form, has 6 movement. It's going to be -1 movement because of Executal's swarming aura or swarming workers aura. So be able to move 5. Not really good at getting into the base. Doesn't have a card. Not very stealthy. Not respectful. Go into the Lith Cavern. You know what? Going into the Lift Cavern would just be a death sentence for Jolie as well, because then Executal will come get them both with that aura of combat plus 2, of 2. So I think Dr. Memnar then is going to run this way and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just over here. So Executal has some choices now of which one he wants to go for. But certainly not going to bunch up and make it easier. That is it for the movement then. So we're going to go on to Opfire. And we do have an Opfire with Sterling Jack Stinger that's still up there on the mesa. So it's going to shoot, let's see. So Jolie has a stealth of 3, and Dr. Memnar the Scientist has a stealth of 4. But Dr. Memnar is also, he's got 3 wounds left. She has 4 wounds left. So, yeah, it's actually kind of a bit of a toss-up there. You know what? I think I'm going to go for the more sure thing. I'm going to go for Dr. Memnar. Not that he's easier to hit, but if just with 3 wounds left, finish him off if I can, right? I think that's the plan. So Dr. Memnar the Scientist, we just looked at, has a stealth of 4. So versus the aim of the Stinger here is better. The Stinger is better by 3. So its attacker better by 3 is a hit, and it's a penetrate of 6 versus an armor of 2. So that is an attacker better by 4. Attacker better by 4 is plus 0 damage. So the Stinger delivers a sting for 1 damage. So Dr. Memnar is now down to 2 wounds remaining. And that's going to be it for the Opfire. So we're going to go on to melee, and there is none. Well, not exactly, but there is some Kung Fu punks who want some melee action over here. So melee, none. So going on to adventuring. I'll go in order of respect. So we have Jolie, nothing. Odessa. So we have Odessa down here. Odessa and Clara Barton. Sorry, steady the camera. Okay. So we have them down here. So Odessa, if you recall, last time Sterling Jack was very unsuccessful in the old sports. Now, it's a 6th throw, and you might think a princess like Odessa of Armory is not going to be very good at that. Well, you wouldn't be totally wrong. I mean, she only does have a throw of 2. However, if you look at the icons, match, match, and the age is a match. So she actually gets plus 3. So she's actually only worse by 1. So a defender better by 1 is a squeak. So almost got it, but not quite. That was actually a little close there. So squeak says plus 1. So we'll put that with her. And you may not be very good at sports. You may not be very good, but you love the sports. And she is dismissed. Okay, so she is dismissed and goes to a black dome. Interesting. So let's see. the black domes are over here and up there. And you've got Enrak the Fury and Devin Regal. Just, I'm sure they'd love to get a piece of her, but you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm still going to put her there. There's nothing really down here, and this whole situation with the Mesa here. This was I don't think I made the map very well for a very. There's just some dead ends, which it doesn't make things necessarily as exciting as it could have been, but is what it is. All right. So I just took a moment just to clarify this token that Odessa had received from the old sports thing, where she got the squeak here. It is a boost to all of her stats. So all of her things can be increased by 1. She does it during the free action phase, and it will last until the next free action phase. And you can only ever use one of them during a turn. So for the next adventuring, we have Clara Barton. Clara, looking at the challenge, so she's going to have to do the same one. So she has a throw of 4 to a 6, and she matches none of the icons, nor does she match the 8. So it's getting worse now. It is an defender better by 2, and defender better by 2 is a failure. So she failed at that, and so she is dismissed, and she goes to a yellow dome. So does she want to come back there? Up there? You know what? Maybe she can meet up with Dr. Memnar and start providing some healing. And finally use her ability. I thought it was going to be so good to have a healer on the team, but so she's up here now with closer to Dr. Memnar. But yeah, she's never had that chance to do it. All right, so that's it for adventure. Oh no, it's not it for adventure. We still have Corporal Janus. So Corporal Janus over there with the Kung Fu Punks. So if we'll bring that back, these Kung Fu Punks have been beating up everybody. So Corporal Janus is he has none of the matching icons, but he is a 2 better on the thing. So it's an attacker better by 2. Oh my God, these punks are tough. So attacker better by 2. For your first martial arts maneuver, you perform a groin pull. So he loses any cards he has, which is 0. Remember this happened to Devin earlier, and he is banished. So wow, these punks have really been something else. So he's banished, and he is going to go to a blue dome. So the team would like him as far out of the way as possible. So he's put over there in this blue dome here, near Sterling Jack. Obviously don't want him in the middle here to run around and create havoc. So that is where he's going to stay. So a really distressing turn. I guess when Team White found out that I'd been notified of their cheating, they were disheartened, and now they seem to be suffering quite a bit. All right, but that's it for their turn. Let's see what Team Black can do. So for the free action phase, the only free action that's going to be taken is by Executal, who will pick up those items that were dropped by Princess Moonglow, or Sunglow, or whatever her name was. Sorry, Princess, it's been so long. So I've looked at you that I've forgotten who you are. So she gets the Lith Tribute, which was Bacon, and she's getting these cards. So she has the Charm Cube, so if anybody tries to attack her, they might switch sides. And then the Battle Standard. Play just before an enemy attempts a ranged or melee hit against the owner. Challenge the owner's wits against the attackers. So not a great card for Executal, because Executal only has 2 wits. So doing that against anybody, you know what? Hey. Scientist only has 2 wits. So maybe he's looking up. Maybe he's looking up at Executal bearing down on him right now. He's scared. If I can get Dr. Memnar on my side, that would be pretty impressive. So what do I need to do that? Oh, I'm curious. Okay, so a pass, attacker is banished. Oh yeah, I have to amaze. So the chance of amazing with an equal wits is not good. I mean, if I get that to Enrak, or get that item to Sterling Jack, Yeah, he's going to put that one to use. Oh, that sounds good. All right, so that sounds like a plan. All right, so there's no other free actions. So we're going to go on to the firing, and although Devin has a gun, has nobody to shoot, and even if he did have somebody to shoot, he's not actually strong enough to use the gun. Need to be aware of that always. So unless you, like, that symbol doesn't match. So if it did, then though you can ignore those. But it requires a 5 strength. It's got a lot of kick, this gun. So he's not strong enough to use this gun. So he has other plans for that gun, though. So it wasn't a big deal. But just saying, so there is no firing to take place. So we're going to go on to movement. So going in order of respect, we will bring up now Sterling Jack. What card do you have? He has that lith thing. That lith thing. So he is going to go 6. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess it doesn't really make a difference. He's going to get stuck there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it can't go 6 up anymore. So yeah, so he's just going to go there. Yeah. So that's his movement. And then we go into Enrak. Enrak has a movement of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, there's Ryan Knight still alive. He's just in jail. But we're going to go there because it's just the easier one to get to. So if we can push it down, might as well push it down. You know what, though? Easier to get to also means the other people are easier to get to. So we'll put them there. Okay. And Devin. Now, Devin is going to go to the low gate. He has a card he can't use, so he's just going to break into the base. Again, so as you recall, it was he that put this damage in the base in the first place. And then Executor. Executor could go after Jolie. But at this point, I think Executor would rather just go 1, 2, 3 and get Dr. Memnar into an aura of 2. And I know Sterling Jack had predicted 5, and we're at 5. It'd be nice to be able to stay at 5, but I think if I've got a plan here. I've got a cunning plan. So that's it for movement. So we're looking at op fire. Jolie has the bow, but she couldn't see out of the cavern to shoot Executor, nor could Jolie see Sterling Jack there. With that curve there's no way that she could see either. Odessa is in a dome over there, so she couldn't see anything. Clara doesn't have anything. Corporal Jameson and Dr. Menderson. Okay, so that is going to be it. So that is the total we have for total being 0. Op fire. Melee. So we do have melee. We have the one-sided affair of Executor fighting Dr. Memnar. Now, not only is it a one-sided affair because only Executor is allowed to fight with the 2 aura, but it's Dr. Memnar the scientist now. So Dr. Memnar versus Executor. Executor. Oh, I'm just realizing that Executor has this Lith tribute. Did I want Executor to go this way? You know what? And picking up the thing and some of the bacon falling off. The bacon got my attention back in 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Because you can move. So going to come. Well, you know what? I will stay right there, because if I come there, then Jolie's actually going to be able to shoot me, and I can easily get into Lith's chamber the next turn. So That'll be turn 11. If I pass off that thing to Sterling Jack, it's going to be too late for Sterling Jack to use that cube, which is unfortunate. Yeah, so Dr. Memner gets away, but it is going to be Jolie versus the Hive Mother. And again, a one-sided fight because Jolie cannot fight back. I'm fighting with the aura of 2. So it's a 5 combat versus a 3 react. So it's an attacker better by 2. Attacker better by 2 is a hit. And then it is a penetrate of 6 to an armor of 2. Attacker better by 4 is minus 2 damage. She does nothing to Jolie. All right, so Jolie managed to escape that one without any wound. And then we're going to go on to adventuring. So for adventuring, go in order of respect. Sterling Jack has nothing to adventure. Anorak the Fury. Can Anorak the Fury finally take out these Kung Fu punks? So does not match the symbols, does not match the age, but is 4 better in combat. So attacker better by 4. Finally, somebody has done it. All right, so punk's down. So he's gaining a card and he is dismissed, and we put a token on that space. So there. And so he's going to get a card. He's going to go for a common card. A law rocket. So he's 6 and 6. So he has the strength but lacks the intelligence to use this rocket. And yeah, not surprisingly, he doesn't have the artillery ability there. So he's got a card he can't use, but that's okay. Actually, how about the other card he has? 1 and 4 and 7. No. So again, strong enough but not smart enough. Not a very smart guy. But he did take care of some Kung Fu punks. And he is dismissed. So he is going to go to a green dome. So a green dome will put him there. So how's his throw? His throw's only a 3. Like, so I'm just thinking of this one down here. This futuristic challenge. Not great. And this green one seems to be a little bit out of the way too. Again, there's so many domes that are just out of the way, especially these 2 mesas just side by side. I really didn't think this through carefully when I built it. Well, if I put him here, well, even with his 6 movement, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, he's pretty much out for the rest of the game. But if I put him here, down here, then he's at least going to have a chance to do something. Unless he goes up there to harass anybody. But again, a lot of people are not in that. Well, I guess there's Corporal Janus. We'll see what happens. And then the next adventuring is Devon Regal. And Devon Regal slips inside the low gate by presenting a bribe of his unusable gun to the person at the door. So he is in. And then Executal has done, so there's no adventuring. So that is it for turn number 10. So for turn 10, tables have turned, and it's looking like an exciting match. So we have a couple more turns to go, and we'll see what comes of it. If you're enjoying this, please remember to hit like and subscribe. And if I've made any mistakes, I guess I still want to know. I'm getting a little despondent at how many mistakes I have made, but is what it is. Please do let me know, and just let me know what you're thinking of this. And I thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'm your host, Craig Thompson Wood, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.